So that thumbnail of the truck they're giving away at Bally's, there's a story from Council Bluffs. They don't give away things like cars. They might have once. It's usually like kitchen appliances, suitcases that are not very sturdy, Tupperware, things like that. So in the showcase when you walked in once, there was Tupperware in Council Bluffs. So a guy comes to poker eventually, and he asks, you know, like, casinos usually give away like cars or like suitcases of cash. Why is there Tupperware in a showcase? And this is at the next table, I'm just listening. And a guy says, like, that's the giveaway. Oh, you play enough or you win some raffle, you get Tupperware. And the guy asks one of the great questions of all time. He says, is it new or used? How I wish I were at that table, because I would have very quickly told everyone, don't answer. Let's see what he thinks. And, oh man. To think they're giving away used Tupperware is fantastic for our entertainment. I have no idea how that guy exists with that type of thinking, but that was a great question to overhear from the other table. Okay, hanging out in Crystals between Aria and Cosmo, and as long as this video is becoming a video of stories, something great just happened at Aria. I mean, it happened like 5 hours ago, but during this last session, there was a 5-5 PLO table next to me. That's a big game. It's deep and it's big. There's some kind of controversy. I run over from my table to hear what's going on. This is what happened. That got like 4 players arguing and 3 floor people called over. It was $20 pre-flop. 3 people went to the flop. 20 times 3 is 60. But 1 player had chips on the way. The chips weren't at the table yet. So if you looked in the middle of the table at the pot, you would only see $40, even though the pot is 60. On the flop, someone bets 2 green chips, $50. Okay, the pot's 60, it's a pot limit game. This player can bet up to 60. $50 is a legal bet. It looks though like the pot is only 40. If the pot were 40, these 2 green chips would just be a bet of 40. Pot limit, he could bet the 40. So most everyone at the table is saying the player who threw out the 2 green chips didn't say anything. So it's just a $50 bet. And into a pot of 60, and pot limit, that's legal. 1 player, seat 3, is saying no. He meant to say pot, but instead of saying pot, he looked at the pile of chips in the middle of the table, counted $40, not knowing chips were on the way from the player without any chips, and he said 40. And those 2 green chips is a bet of 40. And even though he had no support from any other player at the table, he was vehemently opposing the $50 bet and saying it had to be 40. It is an incredibly deep and large game, 5-5 PLO, and he's trying to get this $50 bet to be a $40 bet. I mean, there are times on 1-2 tables, like a chip runner drops a few chips, and just to speed up the game, players will just throw the $1 chip or the $5 chip, so we don't have to pause the game and look around the floor for it. There was a time in WinStar last year, a young guy came to the table, it was probably his first time playing in a casino, he only had $80 cash. It's a $100 minimum. So he was about to leave, and I said, no, stay. I held up 1 red chip, and I said, are there 3 other people here willing to give him 1 red chip so he could have $100 minimum and he could play? And instantly, like before I was done saying that, we got the chips. But this 5-5 PLO player was trying to turn this $50 bet into a $40 bet, and no one fell for it. It took a very long time and a lot of people to make the $50 bet stand, but the $50 bet stood.